Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Dr. Lewis Muchile, and this is Identity Fridays. Amazing stuff. If my sound is clear, kindly confirm, because it's going to get interesting. We have a lot of time, and we are going to make it interesting, challenging, mind-boggling, mind-opening, and you're going to enjoy this because this is a home of healthcare. Now, if you have not followed this platform on YouTube, it's called Dr. Lewis Muchile. You can follow that, or actually basically Dr. Lewis. So you can follow that, or if you can't find that name, simply use HAWS, H-A-W-S, with Dr. Lewis. So that is what you should follow, so that you can actually get to see and receive this free content that is going to change your mind for the better. And this content is coming you courtesy of us from there. The bigger platform that is Health and Wellness Sport, but this is a brother channel to that one, and it's called HAWS with Dr. Lewis or Dr. Lewis. And here, of course, the nickname is Chile. Uncle Chile is in the building and is going to teach you something new about life. So here is where we fix your identities. Here is where we fix your anger. Here is where we help you stay present, and we understand that the basics of life, whether you like it or not, anything that you're trying to manage or treat, if you're trying to treat a condition that is physical, the only problem that happened is the pharmaceutical companies separated these things to expand their market. They separated the spiritual aspect of life from the mental aspect of life, from the physical aspect of life. And this was to expand their customer base. So you can easily see spiritual aspects, you'll have something basically trying to help you fix that. The mental aspects, you'll have a psychiatrist or a psychologist trying to help you fix that. The physical aspects, you'll have now a physician trying to help you fix that. And you'll realize all these things are actually hailing from one center. They are hailing from a messed up spirit inside us. If you're that person who creates an opinion every single day, this is your channel. If you're that person who is always forced to take sides or pick sides, this is your channel. If you're that person who has anger and you're unable to overcome this anger, this is your channel. If you're that person who hates your parents in the name of thinking that you love them, this is your channel. If you're that person who is thinking you're depressed, who is thinking relationships are not working for you, who is thinking life has actually turned against you and it owes you something, this is a channel for you, because it doesn't owe you anything. So we are here, we're going to confirm this, we're going to make it interesting for you. We're going to actually make sure that you learn and unlearn those things that you've actually been conditioned to learn. Okay, so yes, and here we fix both your conscious and your subconscious mind, because we know that's where all the problems hail from. And it shall be amazing to just realize you've always been free. Imagine that in your suffering, you're the only one who is suffering. All is well around you. Imagine that. Like all along you've been free. So the best thing you can do to us is to actually share the live, is to actually like the live, and be interactive, because this is a channel where we ask you questions, we have conversations, and as you answer those questions, it opens up our thinking to the bigger picture, and you'll get to realize that. You'll get to appreciate yourself for that. Amazing. Amazing. Health starts from your kitchen. Number one question, do you have morals? Hello? Do you have morals? That's question number one for tonight. Kinshasa, we are here. This is Professor. Welcome on board, Professor. I remember you. Rose wa Yesu ameingia na Yesu. Question number two, do you worship your thoughts? So that is question number two. Question number one, do you have morals? Hey, yeah. Question number two, do you worship thoughts? Because most of us are so caught up in our thoughts and we constantly worship our own thoughts. Question number three, do you ever feel guilty? Should we call these questions of the year? Do you ever feel guilty? And the last question, do you have standards? Oh, those questions are going to be the center of our conversations as we worship our thoughts, as we lay standards, as we think we have these morals. What are these things? Are they real realities, or are they just thoughts and imaginations? And are they ways that the evil spirit manipulates us, that makes us start judging ourselves and we believe them? Repeat the questions, please. Question number one, Cozy. Do you have morals? So these were those people who have books, you write down. Hi, class ya leo napata 10%. Koi, amazing. Number 1, do you have morals? I'll remind you all through the live. Number 2, do you worship your thoughts? Number 3, do you feel guilty? And number 4, do you have standards? Oh, those questions, you might think they're just 4 questions. Wait until we unfold the discussion, you realize, hiya. So I have been having these standards, and then I've been judging people for no good reason. No, we don't have morals. We only have commandments. Amazing. That's an answer from somebody who has been here for quite some time. We know very well. Here is where we talk about commandments. The only thing you should submit to are the commandments. Nothing else. No morals, no standards, no values, no nothing. All those things were taught to you. Now, before we even start, I will take you through a certain book. Okay? I will take you through just a piece of it. I've shared it on my platforms, and I know some of you have read it. It's a very interesting book called You Are a Badass. Oh, that book is awesome. I hope you can actually get to a chance to read that book. Okay? So that you can actually know where these things are coming from. But I would like you to see this. That when you just join this live, the first thing you should know, that you are not responsible for anything that has happened to you. That's the first thing you should know. That you are not responsible in any way possible, whether good or bad. You are not responsible for anything that has happened to you. The only problem you have is you allow the devil to deceive you through your own thoughts, and then you judge yourself. Now you start believing that judgment. That's the only mistake you do. Allowing him to control you through your own thoughts. That's why we tell you thoughts are evil at all times, unless they are functional thoughts, the present. Every other thought is evil because it's in your imagination, and the devil knows that is where your weakness is. So the spirit of evil will use those thoughts to manipulate you so that you can actually judge yourself. Imagine that. The same spirit that tells you, you know what, God judges. Imagine that even that God does not even judge you. So it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. As long as you stop playing God, simply apologize or forgive so that he can forgive you, and then keep moving. So most of us are actually suffering from problems that are in our heads. They are not real problems. Because in the real world, you realize there are no problems anyway. It's just in your thoughts. It's just you who is thinking, oh, I have problems. No, you don't. We might have challenges, which is part of life. And that's the beauty about life. But anytime you're thinking, oh, I have a problem, you believe it, you become. You become it. Oh. So God is constantly trying to shine light on us. But guess what we do? We keep on judging other people and playing God. We keep on feeling angry. We keep on being thinking we are lesser of human beings. We keep on living in the future that we don't even have. And as you do that, you are submitting to your thoughts. You're worshiping your mindset. You're worshiping your thoughts. And that's how you start playing God. How then do you expect the same God to come in and pick you from your pit? You'll continuously dig that pit. You're thinking you're depressed. No, you're not depressed. You've been told you're depressed. Somebody conditioned you into thinking you're depressed. So listen to this. It's a very good book. It's called You Are a Badass. And this book, it was the author is called Jen Sincero. I hope I'm pronouncing that name perfectly. But anyway, we don't need to be perfect here, right? So listen to this. This book is interesting because this book gives you a lot of things. It has 5 chapters, and all these 5 chapters, of course, are talking about the same things. But I want you to hear this because I want you to understand. When I tell you to read books and do research on your own, you really need to do it because you'll find out things on your own. You don't need me to find out these things for you. You can do it on your own. So number 1, not number 1 necessarily. There's just a part of chapter 1 that says this. Let me just find that part and read it to you because you need it. You will need it because as we'll be discussing this conversation, you realize a lot of things have been skewed. So listen to this. When you came screaming onto this planet, that's when you're born, basically, you are truly a bundle of joy, a wide-eyed creature incapable of doing anything but being in the moment. Let's repeat. When you came screaming unto or onto this planet, you are truly a bundle of joy, a wide-eyed creature incapable of doing anything but being in the moment. Why students will start underlining being in the moment? You had no idea that you had a body, let alone that you should be ashamed of it. So to the fat people, if you're born that chubby as you put it, you never even knew you were chubby, you didn't even care. So you had no idea that you had a body, let alone that you should be ashamed of it. When you looked around, everything just was. Amazing. Perfect life. When you're looking around as a baby, everything just was. Hey, okay. Let's continue a little bit. There was nothing about your world that was scary or too expensive or so last year as far as you are concerned. So there was no past, there were no expenses, there were no expectations, there was nothing. There was nothing about your world, underline your world, that was scary or too expensive so last year, as far as you are concerned. If something came near your mouth, you stuck it in. Babies with that oral face. When anything came near your mouth, you grabbed it and you stuck it in your mouth. If it came near your hand, you grabbed it. You are simply a human being. Hello? I hope you're getting this clearly. Let's continue. While you explode and expanded into the new world, which is your world, you also received messages from people around you about the way things are. Now, that is where conditioning starts, because you did not receive messages from you. You received messages from people around you and the way things are. Okay, so this is what, while you explode and expanded into your new world, you also received messages from people around you about the way things are. People. From the moment you could take it in, they started filling you up with a lifetime's worth of beliefs. Hey, mtu amesema wanaume sasa wako mechi. Amazing. This is a Valentine edition, so you have to get this identity because most of us are whipped. Some of us have actually been left at this moment in time. Watu wameachwa. But anyway, so while you explode and expanded in your new world, you also received messages from the people around you about the way things are. From the moment you could take it in, they started filling you up with a lifetime's worth of beliefs, many of which have nothing to do with who you actually are or what is necessarily true. Examples: the world is a dangerous place. Did you even care? No, you didn't. Number 2, you are too fat. Did you even care? You didn't. Just the same way somebody who is dead does not even care if he's fat or not. A baby does not care if they are fat or not. You are homosexual or homosexuality is a curse. You didn't even care. Size matters to the men. You're so worried about size, and today you will be told that you are 1 minute man or you are too small to actually get to the center of everything. So you did not care about size. Hair shouldn't grow there. So basically those who are having pubic hair, your hair, you didn't care if you grow pubic hair or not. Going to college is important. You didn't give a about it. Being a musician or an artist isn't a real career. Did you even care? No. Did you even know that they are careers? No. Good, let's continue. The main source of information was, of course, your parents, assisted by the society at large. When they were raising you, your parents, in a genuine effort to protect you and educate you and love you with all their hearts, hopefully, they passed on the beliefs they learned from their parents, who learned from their parents, who learned from their parents. So nobody has a stand here. The trouble is, many of these beliefs have nothing to do with who they actually are, were, or what is actually true. So these people are just getting information and passing it over, possibly the same way we pass the kitchen over to our children. So we condition our children into a mini us, the way we were conditioned by our parents. Now I want you to understand this. You remember the order of God? That God above men, men above women, and women above children. When you distort that order, problems. And that's the reason why I tell you, right now, it's a Valentine's Day. So there are men somewhere, seated somewhere, hoping that a woman can actually love them. There are men who have bought flowers and teddy bears, hoping that they can actually provide this, and through that they can buy a woman's heart. Through flowers. No, you want to buy the organ. You don't want to buy the love. You want to buy the organ, because women are incapable of loving men. Women can only love products of their own womb. So most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs. You have been remodeled into an image of your parents or the society. No wonder you judge all the time. Having listened to that, I want you to know this. The reason why I read that part of that book is because it is exactly what I always tell you all the time. You have been remodeled into a mini image of your parents and the society. So you are conforming to false identities, and you've named them morals, you've named them standards. False identities. You are not born with any morals. You didn't even realize the morals until somebody put those morals in your head. Now, apparently, our mothers are the ones who actually raise us in our early childhood. They are the ones who actually condition us. But remember this, as a man, any man who is on this platform, as a man, your number one role is to protect your children from this type of conditioning. As a man, your first role, of course, protection is there for your woman. But the first role to your children is to protect them from this type of conditioning and emotions that are coming from their mothers. Remember, women are very emotional, so sometimes they can punish a child without even wanting it. They can shout at the child because of the anger that they are tapping from you as the weak man. So as they do that, these children don't like it. As you shout at your son, ladies, as you shout at that son of yours, they don't like it, but they think that this is the way they should be raised. That's how they start creating this evil nature in their subconscious mind. They start believing that, you know what, maybe this is how I'm supposed to be raised. But they will ask questions all along. And some of those questions you'll not be able to answer, because they're wondering, why is it that John, let's say John is the friend, why is it that John is not punished the same way? Why is it that Anne is not shouted at by their mothers? Why is my mother so loud? And sometimes, because I remember this, when I was growing up, my mother was the disciplinarian. My dad was a little chilled. You would even prefer being beaten by my dad, because he'll give you 6 strokes of cane, because he was a teacher those days. So he'll give you a 6 strokes of cane, and then that is it. And weirdly, you will never repeat that mistake. So fathers do not punish a child emotionally. Okay? They don't. They punish logically. But women, sometimes the emotions takes over and you punish your child emotionally. That is a mistake. And the weird part again, or the biggest part here is, the role of the father is to actually protect the children from over punishment, over being logged in by emotions that are coming from their mothers. But guess what? This can only happen when the father understands the order of God. And the order of God is the same. Distorting that order is problems. God above men, men above women, women above children. This order in this generation is being distorted every time. Women want to be men, they want to provide, they want to fight in men's spaces and all that. Men want to be women, they want to cross-dress, they want to act in roles of women, they want to be provided for, they are looking for love. So we've interchanged roles, and that is distorting the order of the Creator. Oh, once you distort that order, you will suffer, my friend. Once you constantly buy flowers, taking to a woman, trying to buy her love, you're trying to buy the organ, thinking that you're trying to buy love, because inside you are so hollow, you feel empty, and you're chasing a thrill. You think because you are lonely, a woman can come in and complete you. It's not going to happen. And most of you are just lonely. Most of you are chasing the thrill for sex. After ejaculation, nothing more. You want another ejaculation. And you're wondering how you ended up being a sex addict. You're wondering how you ended up being a porn star. And this is the reason why fathers are so important in the life of a child. So my mother used to be the disciplinarian, and at some point he will punish you for 9 mistakes. So she had this character, this behavior of accumulating 9 mistakes or 10 mistakes. So she will not punish you instantly. She will accumulate all these mistakes and punish you once. Oh, she will beat you for an hour. So we preferred being beaten by our dad, because our dad was logical. He will tell you, you didn't do this, you didn't clear the grass, get your 6 strokes, and then tomorrow you're clearing the glass, without even being told. Oh, but my mother would beat you 1 hour, my friend, 1 hour straight. Yani anakuchapa mpaka kiboko inaisha. She would beat, hey. My sister can bear witness. She would hold us, the two of us, in one hand. Eh. She would beat us like a drum. Mimi mnasema ngoma mnakosea. She would whip the hell out of you. And you see, at some point, my dad was just seated in a corner reading the newspaper. He sounded so unbothered with this noise. I remember a few times when he stopped it. But sometimes, my mother was so angry and my dad would let him just lash that anger in us. We didn't like it because sometimes I felt like, I'm being over-punished. I remember one time I was punished because I talked to a girl. After KCPE, my friend. Story for another day. So I was whipped hard for just being a man. Now that I realized, I resented her for no good reason because she didn't even have control over that. She had a spirit that was controlling her. So now that I realized, there's nothing she would have done. That's why I went ahead to actually forgive her. Because when you see light, you'll realize, these people are doing these things in a fallen state. They did not even realize they were doing it. That's why when I tell you resent your mother, you're wondering, how am I resenting my mother? And yet, I know I love my mother. Already you have an opinion that you love your mother or you love your father. By having that opinion, you're already out. Just the same way, when you think you know God, that's when you don't know God. Immediately you drop the thoughts of knowing God. That's when you know God. That's when He manifests. Because you surrender. But all of us, all you know is what you've been taught in church, you've been taught in school, the society has taught you, the false standards that you've actually brought to yourself, and you think that you can actually remodel God into your own image. And that's why you're thinking, just because I'm a Christian, I will see heaven. Yet, the same Christianity teaches you that heaven is inside you, in your heart. Just because I am a Hindu, just because I'm a Muslim, you think that is an upper hand, that now you know what, heaven is open to you. My friend, by the time you're thinking that, you're out already. Is there really heaven? Yes, it is in your heart. And your real world is inside you. So if you're thinking there's heaven somewhere up here, you're lying to yourself. Everything is happening inside you. Your real world is inside you. What I call heaven is perfect peace. And you cannot find perfect peace unless you forgive those people who actually molded you into their own image. You see that? So there are people who actually suppressed the spirit of good. They actually killed your real reality. They killed your perfect peace. And they gave you their false identities. And specifically mothers do this very well. So when I was looking at this, I was wondering, why is my dad so chilled? There was a day I was beaten and I was like, Dad, please. But my dad looked so unbothered. Because the truth is, most of our parents were so dominated. Most of our fathers were so weak and they were dominated by our women, by our mothers, sorry. This is the same thing that is happening now. Most men are so weak and they are dominated by women. Women don't like dominating men. They will want to, but they don't like it. They don't appreciate it. They want somebody who can actually lead them. That's why you are a leader as a man. But one day you miss a point and they dominate you, you will not like it. They will resent you. And when they resent you, they become the beasts that you've never known. So as you take those flowers knowing, hey, that woman already knows you are trying to buy her organ. And she knows that if she feeds you that organ multiple times, you'll run away. Because there's no commitment. You think flowers are commitments? You think just because now you've organized this beautiful dinner, that's a commitment? No way. Go face her father. And let's see how it goes. Because beasts will always know beasts. So fathers will always know this one is a criminal. But I can actually bribe your mother. I can come and tell your mother, you know what, I like your daughter, and I bring your mother some clothes and all that, and her emotions will be so melting, and she'll allow me, chukua huyu, take this one. I'm even tired. She's now 28, she's 30. Why is she doing, hey, please, thank you for coming for her. We appreciate you, sir. Take her. Because of one there, I've taken one kitenge to her, and she's all over the moon. But fathers will look beyond that. That's why fathers are very important. They protect their children from external aggressors and the internal aggressor, who happens to be emotions that are coming from their mothers. Once you overcome those two people, because now you see our fathers were weak and they ended up being dominated by our mothers. But it was not their fault. They were in a fallen state. They were born to parents who had the same ideology. Their fathers were weak, their mothers were angry at them, and all that was actually brought into children. Now the children become so weak, they become so angry, and they suffer. And you see, this book actually informs you something. It tells you That at some point, you build your subconscious mind on beliefs and thoughts that you are raised in. And once that happens, you are even afraid of exploring things because you've never brought up that subconscious mind on the surface so that you can actually clear it out. And fasting and staying present and meditation, the silent prayer, are the three things that can actually bring your subconscious on the surface so that those bad habits, those bad emotions and thoughts can be easily done away with. So until you start fasting and still you accept yourself, you stop playing God, you must accept that, you know what, maybe I'm wrong. Because when you accept you're wrong, that's when you decide, hey, God, I'm unable, I've surrendered, take it. He takes it over. He takes the anger emotions out of you. So when I was looking at my dad being that way, I was wondering, what is happening here? So I started resenting my father for no good reason. And sometimes women can pull this trick because your mother can actually pull this trick. Oh, you know, your father has been so, amekuwa akinitesa, your dad is, I don't like this. Sometimes I've struggled with you people, I've raised you, but you can see how your dad behaves sometimes. And these are emotions that are coming from your mother having an argument with your father. It has nothing to do with the children. So when that happens, there becomes a serious problem because now, you know what, you start resenting your father. But I will tell you this for free. Ladies and gentlemen, fathers do not resent their children. I know there will be noise in the comment section. People will start saying, oh, you know what, how about those fathers who come in and they deposit the sperm and they leave? That is your choice. Because a woman gives access to sex and who to give children to. So you gave access to sex and to children. The most precious gift a woman can give a man is her womb. So imagine you giving somebody your womb and then complaining later. Imagine that. So you attract who you are. So you simply attracted an evil person just like you. And 99.9% of human beings are evil. Very evil because they've never forgiven. They've never forgiven. People get into marriages and relationships without having identities. They have false identities. Most of them. I actually put out a video that was talking about how men end up attracting their mothers for marriage. Oh, you could have seen how men got angry with me. And they were thinking that because they are angry, I will get as angry as they were. I was like, well done. Keep talking. They were so angry in the comment section. Let me call them males. Because they were touched. Something, I just hit where it pains the most. Oh, you sound sometimes when you're talking to people, they think you're your mother. So weak boys. And nowadays, a lot of sons are being raised by mothers. You call them single mothers. I told you there's no single mother. You cannot get a pregnancy on your own. You're a mother. Just call yourself a mother, not a single mother. You've even seen this day, there were editions of single mother edition, Valentine's edition, single mother edition. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And a lot of people will sign in as single mothers. So they'll sign in to go and attend these so that they can actually be lied to and conditioned even further to hate the fathers of their children and then bring this anger to the children. And then they'll sit back wondering, why is my son an alcoholic? Why is my son addicted to pornography and masturbation? Why is my son so resentful? I've had a chance to speak to a guy, bro, a 21-year-old son. This guy hated his father with all he has, bro. I'm telling you for free. This guy was crazy. Like, he had been conditioned to know that the father ran away from the day he deposited the sperm. So this guy developed a lot of anger towards his father. And this guy, if any case, the reason why he was introduced to me is because he was depressed. So the guy was, I'm being told, like, Tari, I've heard you talking about identity things. Please talk to my son about depression. He's depressed. He's on antidepressants. Fluoxetine, to be specific. I'm told, talk to this guy. I'm like, talk to this guy? How should I talk to this guy? So now I have to question the mother and then the son. I realized, hey. So now I told the mother, now it's time for you to sit out. I need to talk to the boy. She accepted, and she accepted that I should share this story. So this is not me trying to snitch. She told me to share the story. So the weird part was this. So I talked to this guy and he started opening up. I realized when the mother was present, this guy was not talking much. He says a word and the mother interrupts and the mother says the rest. So this guy did not like it. And you could see it in the body language. So now, when the mother went out, this guy sat upright. He was easy because he had realized how we converse, and I conversed to them as their brother. So he realized, oh, okay, this guy is free. So we started talking. This guy told me that, you know, my father I have never met my father. He left my mother, and my mother has struggled. Now I'm in campus. My mother always complains about school fees. So I'm struggling, like literally, because if he was there, maybe he would have taken his role. That is a son saying that about the father. Then I asked this guy, where did you get all these ideas? Have you ever asked your mother why they separated with your father? Why she separated with your father? The guy says, when I asked that question, my mother told me, I should never ask such a question because he does nothing. He helps me with nothing. He's nowhere. He's actually non-existent. Then I asked this guy, I want you to be honest with me. From deep inside you, have you ever felt the void of your biological father? He says, yes, but I hate him and I met him just once. And when I met him, I was boiling. I wanted to beat the hell out of his head. But when I reached there and he talked to me, I felt like he's roaring. Ananguruma kama simba. So when he talked to me, I melted. I had no strength to even fold my fists. Then I realized I am so weak in the presence of my biological father. I am so weak. And then I asked him, what did your father say? My father told me that when I'll be over this anger, I should come find him and we'll have a conversation. So that's the only time he met his father. And he was busy trying to defend himself. I don't have anger. You left us. You left us. My mother has been suffering because of you. So I told this guy, the truth is this, bro. When you're talking to your father, you went there with anger and you totally sounded just like your mother. So your father would actually see your mother in you. And he was unable to roll in conversation with you because he actually felt like he's talking to your mother. And remember this, men run away from the woman. They don't run away from the children. This is one thing you'll never agree with. So I told this guy, you know what? I want you to drop the anger by forgiving your mother first. Go and forgive your mother. Once you forgive your mother, overcome her totally. Do not allow her to actually bring you back through her emotions and her victimhood. And then after you've done that, now take about 3 weeks or so, or a month, and then go and find your father again and face him, because it's evident that inside you, you have this void of your biological father, and you're thinking you're depressed because you've been convinced by a psychiatrist that you're depressed, but you're not. So it was a whole conversation before he actually agreed. And I'm sitting back, I'm waiting for that. Because one, at least he gave me a green flag that he forgave his mother. It was an interesting part, very interesting part. And then I talked to the mother and told the mother, you know what, this guy has totally adapted your identity. She didn't believe it in the first place. She actually felt like, aye. So I told her, this one has adapted your identity. And the problem is, until she overcomes you, it will be a problem. So when you see him facing you and telling you the truth, do not be a victim. Do not play a victim. Allow him to do what he has to do. And I'll bring back that story. And I hope one day that guy will come here and share his story. So most of you are suffering from the same problems. Oh, a lot of people around the world are suffering from the same problems, identity problems. You think you're impressing people, you're suffering. You're trying to chase a thrill. The whole is inside you, not outside. You're trying to associate with the world, thinking that, you know what, validation will make me feel better. It makes you feel better for a while, but when you're alone, you're still lonely. How many people do you know are in marriages, but super lonely in marriages? A lot of them. Oh, you look at your husband, you wish this one would just die. You're wondering, out of all the men that I had, this one, I only attracted this one. Right now, there's somebody on a date with a woman, looking at this woman thinking, just now I'm realizing you have a pot belly. I'm like, You met on where? In DMs. Now you're seeing this guy, you're like, this girl. And now you're wondering, I came here, I made a surprise here and all these things. I have these flowers. I'm going to spend money on this date. But I'm going to actually not enjoy this date because the one who is seated in front of me is not the one that actually saw in those pictures. But you're afraid of her. You can't tell her. Why? Because you hate your mother. You resent your mother and therefore you don't know how to behave around women. You hate your father. That's why you ended up attracting who you are. But you don't know that, do you? Oh, I told you the story of me and the teddy bears. Oh, Valentine, every year used to be a whole different stuff. Oh, I would start looking for surprises. Immediately Christmas is done. I want to celebrate the new year with the whole idea of how my Valentines will be. Before I even close that year and count, 2, 3, 1, 0. Hey, Happy New Year. I must have an idea of how to impress that woman. Kitu nitoe Nakuru inilete Gikomba kutafuta the biggest teddy bear so that you know what, Valentine's everybody has a teddy bear, right? So if you are coming in with a teddy bear, you have to have the biggest teddy bear, the most unique of the teddy bears. I saw another picture going around that there was a lorry carrying a teddy bear of roses. Hey, I'm like, no guys, why are you carrying it on a lorry? I did this on my back. Yeah, the back looks better on the lorry. No. That's superficial. We need something deep. I mean, carry it so that people know this guy is in love. No, I was in love, my friends. Hopefully. So mnacheza nini? Mnasema Valentine's. Until you get to unlearn, that's just a day like any other. What? You see guys making a whole bouquet of flowers plus money inside to just buy the organ. There are people who will be left today. Somebody is trying to call a woman, no calls being picked. And is there thinking, oh, you know what? Maybe she will pick. Maybe she will pick. Where? The other time I saw a very influential lady. This is a small lady who trended for the wrong reasons on Twitter sometimes back. She dropped the relationship that she was in with this guy who was an actor. I know you guys know her. This guy who was an actor on that children TV show. Dropped that one because this one, you know what? He's a super gambler. He's addicted to gambling. I can't have him, but he's the father to my daughter. If any case, we do tattoos, and we do tattoos on our skin for the legs of our daughter. But now, this guy, the same guy that I chose to have a baby with, is a serious gambler. So now I can't have this gambler anymore. I will drop this gambler and I'll take a few days and I will jump into a new relationship. And you saw when the lady was trending because there were nudes of her on the internet. Oh, the guy was so angry. He was there saying, oh, you know what, I can't talk about this. That is mama. Yeah? Don't talk about mama that way. So that is mama. Yeah? Before we even loaded that is mama, he is left. Kumbe wewe ndo addict. Kumbe wewe ndo the gambler. And now mama takes some time out there, goes back and anaoga anarudi soko. She's in another relationship. Kidogo we are seeing her in a police station with another abusive man. Okay, so now I'm like, and people are taking sides. Everybody's there on the gossip side. We want to just hear, what does she say? Yeah. I'm seated back there, I'm saying, don't you see that she was chasing a thrill? Don't you see that she was chasing a thrill? And don't you think that the devil is actually trying to convince her, you know what? Your past might be the one that is taunting you. You know what? You don't have a past, so don't care about the past. You are your present. That thing that you are constantly thinking is success. That is how the devil lies to you, to constantly live in the future and not appreciate your current state. You're living in a bed sitter or you're living in a single room somewhere. You can't appreciate that. You're constantly looking for a 2-bedroom house because you saw it on the internet, because your favorite influencer is having it, because your friends or your colleagues or people who you are classmates with, your age mates, have those houses. So you're having sleepless nights because you're envying life. You're trying to imitate lives of people, which basically tells you from inside you're very empty. So you're trying to think, if I get this good house, I'm going to fit somewhere. If I get this type of job, I'm going to be accepted by my peers. If I have this type of girlfriend, I'm going to be this person. People will accept me. My peers will say, hey, Lewi anakonga na dem super. So I'm there trying to think, okay, so every woman I'm trying to look for has to have some form of standards, false standards, so that my peers can accept me. And you've seen how men do. When they have this girl who has no good looks. But the weird part is, these girls who don't have good looks as such, and good is relative anyway, they tend to have other qualities that are so deep-rooted. You'll find this girl comes in, cleans, cooks, and by the time you're taking her out, that's when your friends are all over. Hey, Lewi, hey. Like they're looking and thinking, hey, Lewi, So you're constantly living with that pressure. Now you have to find a good-looking girl, spend a lot of money and energy on this girl, simp, so that your peers can actually accept you. The weird part is God works miraculously. When you're coming with this girl in the cube, None of your friends sees that. They are not even available. They are out. Some of them have gone home. They don't even realize it. When you're taking this girl out, you want to hold her hand so that you can actually get the validation. Nobody sees that. You're like, watu wanangojanga nilete dem anakaa, shigidi. That's when they are here, they are available. But when you have this thing that I need them to see, these guys are nowhere to be seen. Now you have to show them photos. Oh, you see mama. These guys are not interested. That is the same way the world operates. Nobody cares about you. The world owes you no understanding. No understanding. So the moment you realize that, oh, you're a good person, you're good to go, perfect peace, you'll not care about who will actually approve or who will make a judgment, because you'll simply understand anybody who makes a judgment is in a fallen state and is being convinced by the devil in his thoughts that he's doing the right thing, because you don't know what is good and what is evil. You only know the spirit that has to live inside you, and that spirit controls you to do the things that you're doing. So if you still have that spirit that was imposed to you by your mother, your father, the society, schools, religion, when you have that false spirit inside you, you have suppressed the spirit of goodwill. So you will always do evil, and then you will defend that evil. And then this spirit will make you judge yourself for doing those things, and then you feel bad about it and you dig your own pit. But when you overcome that spirit by forgiving, because God says forgive so that I can actually forgive you. Stop playing God. Accept that I was wrong. You know what? I have been wrong all my life for resenting my parents, and I'm not supposed to resent them. Now that I understand they did what they did in a fallen state, I have to apologize to them. And then you face them and tell them, you know what? I realize you didn't have any option. You didn't have anything to do about this. You didn't have any control over what you did. And because I resented you, now I apologize. And you see, when you're saying you apologize, you're not looking for an apology from them. You're not looking for validation. Human beings are incapable of forgiving. It's only God who forgives. And how does he forgive? He takes the burden of anger out of you. He takes the emotions out of you. He fills you back with your own identity. That is perfect peace. That is the heaven you need. But the more you think of, oh, there are 7 heavens, oh, there are 10 heavens and all that, problems. Somebody is saying many people should start by forgiving themselves. Listen, you don't have an ability to forgive yourself because you don't have the free will. Okay? I want you to know that. You don't have the ability to forgive yourself. It's only God who forgives you. That's why he tells you forgive so that I can actually forgive you. So you cannot forgive yourself. You don't have that control. You don't have that power. Because the only power that you have is to choose the spirit that lives in you. And you are born with the spirit of light. That's why you didn't care about anything. You didn't have fear. You didn't have doubt. You didn't have loneliness. You didn't think you love people because you didn't even know what love is. You didn't know what is right and what is wrong. You were just living life. You allowed life to be it. You just allowed things to flow the natural way. You didn't care as a child. But when somebody started telling you, hisi tamu, oh, don't go here. These people are criminals. Don't associate with this. If you do this, you'll go in prison. This is how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be a doctor to live a better life. All these things got into your subconscious mind and they messed you up. They did away with your spirit of good. They brought the spirit of evil in you, and you started living in a future that you don't even have. And the devil realized that. He used that as an opportunity to actually make you judge yourself for the things you've done. Look at people who have done abortions. They judge themselves for that. Actually, if it happens in life or in the present that they are unable to actually hold a pregnancy, they start judging themselves for the abortions they did. But you see, these people did not have any control over what was happening. It was in their thoughts, their imagination. The devil deceives to them that, you know what? You need to go to work. You know what? This guy will not marry you. You know what? How will your mother look at you when you have this pregnancy? So go ahead and buy those pills and get an abortion. And even the devil gives you a reason or the explanation of how to buy those cheap pills, where to buy them, and what to tell the guy who is selling those pills. Oh, unajua niko na rafiki yangu alipata ball but hataki hiyo ball. Rafiki yako. Rafiki ya nani? Wewe. We know. Rafiki yangu alipata mimba na boy amemtoka so anataka kutoa. Hey. Tell me more about that friend. So the devil is actually giving you reasons to convince the one who is selling, who is also evil, to sell you those drugs so that you can go and flash that out, so that you can enjoy being in a workplace, so that you can actually know that if this guy is now committing to me, I have to give him children, but now it's not time. So you can go ahead and enjoy sex without having to take responsibility, And then when you get into problems, you're now seeking solutions. The same devil who took you into those problems is now providing solutions for you. Amazing, right? And now he will make sure that you judge yourself every single day of your life. Who is the devil? The spirit of evil that was imposed in you by your parents, by religion, by schools, by the society, in form of standards, in form of morals. That is the devil. Your thoughts and imaginations, that is the devil. So if you're thinking the devil is somewhere with horns and red teeth full of blood, that's a waste of your space. You are the devil through your imagination and the spirit that lives in your heart. That spirit was taught to you. You must overcome it by forgiving those who taught you that spirit. And again, somebody will ask, who is God? God is the spirit that lives in you. You are born with that spirit. You are born with the spirit of God. You are born with the kingdom of heaven. And you are born with the scripture in your heart. So when you went to school, intellect came in. It took away common sense. When they taught you about religion, the Bible, they took off your common sense. And they made you rely on what they knew. Look at people calling a pastor daddy. Look at people, how they worship their spiritual leaders. You will see there's a whole mess out here. And they think that religion is coming in to provide solutions to lack of identities. Never. You will pay tithe. You will give out that offering every single time. You will help the poor. But nothing is coming to happen for you. Why? Because you are helping with expectations that, you know what, I'm doing this so that God can reward me. Which God? Anything you do, you're doing it for yourself. It's you. You are so empty. You're so lonely. You have fear. You have doubt. You're seeking love. And now men are thinking women can love them. So they have to buy the attention of a woman. Narcissist personality is in the form of the same pastor. Now, I want you to see this also. Imagine the word narcissist. What does it mean? What does it mean? That's another big word that was thrown there by psychiatrists to just make you feel convinced that, you know what, I was hated by this guy. And then they make you feel good, and then they put you on antidepressants. You'll get to realize that there's nothing like narcissists, there's nothing like manipulation. No, if there's manipulation, it's self-manipulation. Because guess what? That manipulator is your choice. So you chose a manipulator, which basically means the energy that you portrayed from inside you, because you attract who you are. So the energy that you portrayed out, you ended up attracting the same energy. It also means you did not have an identity. You hated your mother and your father, so you constantly kept on running away from your mother and your father, and you ended up attracting what you're running away from. Most people attract their mothers and their fathers in their marriages and relationships. And most people hate the mirror images of themselves. That's why they attract a man or a woman, and then they blame that man or woman. Anytime you're blaming something, you're empty. Anytime you're shifting blame, you're handing over your power. Imagine that person that you hate so much can easily control you, because if he sends you a text and tells you, you know what, you're the worst person I've ever met in bed, you will be so angry. So he has power. He can control you so easily. So why do you hate him? Forgive and let him go. Is that easy? Just overcome those anger that you have inside you. And anger simply comes from you being conditioned by your mother and your father. So fathers are very weak. They allow mothers to condition us, because it's the role of the fathers to protect children from being conditioned by their mothers. And most of you know that person who was taking you to church all the time was your mother. Fathers did not play that big a role there. They didn't. They were nursing a hangover somewhere. They drank on Saturday evening, and now Sunday they were nursing a hangover. How would they take you to church? They are judging themselves for drinking the previous day. They are thinking, oh, you know what, I'm a sinner. And you'll realize most of us will quote our evil nature by giving it different names. You will say, you know, I'm a sex addict. You know, I'm a porn star. You'll give yourself these small names. But no one will ever admit that, you know what, I'm an evil person. So you're playing God by trying to protect the evil spirit by saying, you know what, I'm a sex addict, because you want us to feel, you know what, you will overcome. Don't worry, you will overcome. I am a sex addict. I love porn. I am a drug addict. I love weed. Weed makes me feel high and gets me into the meditation state. Well, the weed makes me feel high. So you need something to make you feel high. You are born high. So who took away your high that you have to find it in a weed, in bang? Who took away your joy that you now have to sit in a club listening to loud music and drinking alcohol so that you can actually enjoy women dancing? There was a time when I had stopped drinking alcohol, my JD, I could go into a club and just sit down, drink. You see, I moved from alcohol to, what do we call it? To, there's something called Novida. Novida and Alvaro. Do you guys remember that? Novida and Alvaro. I would binge myself on Novida and Alvaro the whole night. And the guys used to say, if you take Novida and then you eat with bread, that is alcohol. You get drunk. So I used to binge on that, and also these Del Monte juices, mango juice. I put them there, and now my only pleasure is to listen to loud music and see ladies dancing. That was my new addiction. So I moved from alcohol to now a new addiction, sugar, and all that. Just the same way, we move from sex addiction with women, we move to porn and masturbation. So you take your addiction from the sex, from the woman, into your own hand now. And then after you've ejaculated on masturbation, you start saying, anyway, it's safe sex. Anyway, it's just good. And I saw a lady on a podcast saying, I advocate for masturbation because masturbation makes you understand your sexuality. It will make you understand your sexuality so that you can actually serve the other partner well. I'm like, hey, madam, keep talking. So you're just telling us you're a masturbation addict in denial, right? So keep telling us. How else? Scientists have said that at least 21 times of masturbation will make your mindset open. I'm like, hi, scientists. Sir? Hey, so keep going, Madam Scientist. What are you saying? What else? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this show, Identity Fridays. This is Dr. Lewis. Allow me to market my platforms. One is Health and Wellness Sport, a very healthy YouTube channel and TikTok platform called Health and Wellness Sport. Those are platforms that share health content strictly. I have another channel called Dr. Lewis, or HAWS, H-A-W-S, the one that we are doing a live on right now. If you've never subscribed to that channel, please go on YouTube, Dr. Lewis, go and subscribe. You will find health content for free. You will find spiritual content for free. The same way we do. So we do a live on Monday on Health and Wellness Sport. We do a live on Friday on Identity Fridays on the HAWS. Oriyo mno daktari. Sande mwami. Priki is asking, Doc, I forgave my parents. Mom asked me if they did wrong thing. Now listen, that is how they start pulling you down. Because you see, women are very emotional. So when you forgive them, when you tell them, you know what, I realized I was wrong, because you realize you've been playing God by resenting his people. So you say, I realized I was wrong, and now that I see better, I apologize for resenting you for no good reason. Your mother will hear these things, and instantly the spirit of evil will resurrect. And you start controlling her through her own imaginations. Why is she running away from you? Why is your daughter running away from you? Has she found the reason to be next to the father? Because women hate a perfect relationship between children and their biological fathers. You can take that to the bank. Women hate a perfect relationship between biological fathers and their children. For this reason, women love and they thrive on attention. They will not like it. They will not take it, but this is the truth. Women love and thrive on attention. So when they are newly married, all the attention from their husband is going to the child. No, to the woman, sorry. Newly married. You see them saying, not true. You will get to realize this way. So when you're newly married, all the attention from your husband is coming to you. He comes back from work, he's bought you a rose flower. He comes back from work, he gives you chocolate, buys you shoes and all that. So all the attention is coming to you. You love it. But wait until the child comes in. And now the guy comes in and asks you, how is the son? How is my daughter? Did he sleep? Why is she this way? So all attention goes to the child. Now he comes with the lollipop, gives the child. The attention has totally shifted. You don't like and appreciate that. That is one thing you will never agree to, but it's true. You don't love that. Now it's competition. And that's why even in psychology, as a son is growing up, much attention is given to the mother. And there's a stage in psychology where this son becomes envious of the father. He doesn't want the father to move near the mother. Same thing happens to daughters. They don't want their mothers moving near to their fathers. Do you think that is coming from the air? It's a type of conditioning. Tana, I am not here to condition you. You can easily leave. Okay? I am here to make sense to you. And if it hits you, well done. If the shoe fits, wait. So when the attention goes to the children, women don't like that. This is one of the reasons why a woman will have children with this man. When they break up, she'll be constantly looking for another man because she thinks she'll get the attention from this other man. She feels empty. But you see, that emptiness cannot be filled with a man. It can only be filled with yourself by forgiving and overcoming that loneliness inside you. Now you bring in another man into a relationship with these children, and this man does not like the children. Why? Because this man comes in because he wants you. He doesn't want the children. But you know very well, you as a single parent, let me call that a single mother, you will actually put these children ahead. So when this guy is trying to know you, just knowing you, doesn't care if you're a mother or nothing, he's just there to know you. You will throw in a dice, and this dice is telling him, you know what, I have a son, or I have a daughter. Now you've introduced somebody here. When you introduce that person, that man stops thinking about knowing you anymore. Because he wasn't interested in your son or your daughter. He was here to know you. But once you introduce that chapter, this guy automatically switches from thinking about you as a potential person. He starts thinking about how to win you in terms of the organ. So you know what happens? This guy will pretend to love those children. Oh, he will. He understands that he comes second to your children. No man wants to come second to anything. So he'll pretend to love these children. He'll bring shoes to these children. He'll bring presents to them, bond with them until he gets the organ. And that's when you realize this is the 13th mistake. And then you start telling us, misogynist. He's a toxic. There's nothing toxic and misogynist. It's just you who is empty and tried to find validation from somebody who doesn't even care about that. We are all here for selfish interest. So I came here because I wanted the sex. And you see, men nowadays are sex addicts and women are sex peddlers. So all of us are coming in with the selfish interests. But look at you trying to defend yourself because you know this is a mistake. You know very well you can't stand that relationship. But I will lie to you every single day. Oh, I would like to give you a 14th baby. Well, you came in with 13, no problem. I love the 13th, but I want the 14th. Why do you think he wants the 14th? He hates these 13 children here. But the good thing about men, they will do what they have to do anyway. But women, women can only love products of their own womb. There are women who are lucky out here who have identities and they have raised stepchildren. They are there, but very few. Oh, I had a girl, a friend of mine. He told me, and these guys who are younger than me, they kept on telling me, daktari hujabi nimeoa bana, sasa niko na watoto watatu bana. But nisaidie 200 ninunulie unga. I'm like, bro, why did you marry? You can't provide for your children and you even put 3 children in that woman. You're wasting time. You have to do a DNA to confirm if those children are yours in any case. Because you're weak. How can you marry when you cannot provide? You'll make this woman resent you, and through resenting you, all your children will suffer. Because she'll turn this anger into these children. So listen, so this guy tells me, unajua mimi nimeona, I'm like, okay. But bro, mimi nilipata dem mzuri sana. I got a very good woman. When I was in college with this woman, of course, he had a son with another woman. So he was busy chasing an ejaculation. So when I was in college with this woman, what happened, she actually took a break from school and decided that she will raise my son until I finish school. When I finish school, and then I can take her back to school. False promises, right? I will take care of your children, and when you finish school, please, now you can take me to school. But I'll not give you children now. Hey, this guy goes, this one loves me. This woman loves me. One, a woman cannot love you. She will only respect and submit if you're that man. So this is what happened. So this guy finishes school and all that, and then apparently puts a baby in this girl before he takes this girl back to school. Now a second child comes in. That's when this guy realized, I went south. Because this lady turned from being this motherly to this stepson to being a totally different beast to the same son. His woman would take a hot knife, just burn a knife in a jiko and then just choma huyu kijana mguu, ati hiyo ni punishment. Kijana anachoma mahindi kwa jiko and this woman is busy anachoma kisu hapa juu ya jiko. The guy is going to turn the maize hapo chini ya jiko. This woman just takes the knife and anamguzisha kisu moto. Ai! Anaambia wachana hiyo mahindi. Hey. Now I understand why our great grandfathers used to be wiser than us, even though there was no technology that time. You see, when there was a new child in this family or an orphan, what they will do is they will come with things. Let's say umekuja na maybe sugarcane. You will distribute this sugarcane to your children first, okay? And then you will tell your children, each one of them, hebu kata upe huyu. Just take a piece of it and give it to this son. Wewe pia huyo. At the end of it all, this orphan or this new child will get more than your children, but they will never notice it. So these guys were so smart. They knew their assignment. But look at you. You're trying to balance things, right? Oh, you know what? I can do this. You know, this is my son and these are also my children. I can balance it. The woman can't. She can't. Let us listen to this gentleman. Who is this? Kaka J. Women can only raise products from their own womb. They're only loyal to those ones. Just the same way they're loyal to their feelings. If you're hoping that a woman can be loyal to you as a man, you're wasting time. You need to do what you have to do so that she can respect and submit to you. That's how it is. That's how God designed it. But look at you. You're sharing bills with a woman and you expect submission. Where from? Look at you. You're bringing flowers and your woman is going for somebody who does not bring her anything. Why? Because there's masculine energy there. You are trying to buy her with flowers and all these gifts, but there's somebody somewhere who does not gift her. He rewards her for doing something. So if she makes a good meal, this guy buys her dress and tells her, you know what? Yesterday you cooked a very good meal and that's why I decided to buy you this dress. So it's a reward for her doing something. That's why she will do better. But look at you. Oh, babe, nimekuletea necklace. Oh, babe. You're gifting her for doing nothing. Oh, I was stuck in that phase for 4 years. 4 years clean. A woman comes in, does not do anything. You even, I'm romantic. If I bought a teddy bear, a whole teddy bear and carried it from Nairobi to Nakuru, I am very romantic. You can't tell me nothing. Yeah, I'm there cooking, my friend. Every day I have to up my skills so that I can actually cook for her and impress her, so that I can be served. So I was the woman in the relationship. I just didn't know, but you tell me I'm a woman, I'll come after your throat. You calling me a woman? I'm just a romantic man. I'm a gentleman. I can open doors. I can pull chairs. Remember, there's a guy who doesn't do those things. Yeah? He rewards her for doing good. So he rewards an effort. And that's why the woman will want to do more to him. Wewe hapo unapeleka maua. Unapeleka maua. Sasa uko hapo chocolate nini, cake umeweka ndani pete. A cake was made a whole week being just designed for you. Now you have these flowers that have money inside and you're cutting these flowers. You even put the violinist there is making good music and you're there on a candle night date. And bro, before you notice it, because look at you, it's you who will take the videos to post. She will not post you because she knows you are not the potential. She's using you as a stepping stone. You call them the destiny connectors? Yes. She's just trying to, because women are always trying to look for the better mate. So at that moment in time, as you're doing these things, all the effort is coming from you. You're not the better mate. Because remember, she's also giving in effort to somebody else who provides masculine energy. You are very feminine. That's why you believe in romance instead of provision. The best way to romance a woman is to provide, protect her, lead her. So as you sit there thinking, I'm romantic, you've Googled, bana. Googled all romantic places. Pega flight mpaka Mombasa, Diani. Atatupostia picha. Akishatupostia picha, pale edit mmetuwekea vizuri. We are in her DM. Hey, sweetie. And that's the time you are single for the 14th time also. Wow. Hii show ikuangi ya kila mtu. The best way to show romance is to provide, to protect, and to lead a woman. And then now you can reward her effort. When she makes a good meal, take her for a date someday. Tell her, you know what? This date is specifically because you made it happen in that kitchen. The food that I ate on Monday was super, and that's why Thursday night I've decided I'm not going to watch anything. I'm taking you here to just have conversations and eat a good meal. This shoe, I'm not buying a shoe to gift you. I'm giving you this shoe because I realized you've done laundry and the house is so clean. My children are so nice. I can come back home and feel at home. The house is full of peace. So I decided what? Just dress up from top to bottom. And now let me take you for a ride. Let me take you for a tour. Just see nature. Unaleta maua. Unaleta maua alafu unaambiwa eka hiyo maua kwa maji hapo. Weak men suffer in the hands of women. Ulisahau kuweka hii maua yako kwa maji. Ona imekauka. Your ears will start bleeding for no good reason. You buy her a car. The following day she parks in a hotel and there's another lady who parks a Range Rover just besides her. She calls you and she's so angry. Now she needs a Range Rover. Yeah? You buy her that car and you think you're the best guy. You even post it to us. You cutting the ribbon and she's like, oh my God, babe, this was awesome. Guess what? That car gets a puncture and she calls you and tells you, hey babe, hii gari yako imepata puncture. Imekuwa yangu sasa. Now it's my car because it has a puncture. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have anger, if you're thinking you're depressed, if you have resentment, if you need a conversation that will make you understand every single detail of this, request to be a guest. I've seen 2 guys requesting and then they ran away. It's time for us to have those conversations. Time for us to have those conversations with you. And when I tell you these things, you guys think I'm just joking. You've seen we were dragged into this femicide movement that was just a useless movement. All of us were dragged to pick sides. Oh, now even the celebrities who are shooting content, they have to edit their content in a way that does not support femicide things. Have you forgotten, guys? So we were forced to pick sides. We've been forced all the time to pick sides between the LGBT community. We are this side, those other sides, those other guys are that side. So we are either pro or against. We've always been forced to pick sides. Don't you think you're being manipulated? Always you have to pick sides. Even in religion, the Christians thinking they are the better religion, Muslims thinking they are the better religion. You've seen these things, right? So we have to be divided somehow, some way. Pick sides. Then you're picking sides and you're playing God. You're playing God. Oh, I don't support abortion. Oh, yeah. By the time you're picking that side, done. You're as useless as the one who is actually doing the abortion. Why are you judging? Why are you passing judgment? Why are you passing judgment? If you are at all, you know God, how are you passing judgment? Yet it's not in your role to judge. So immediately you drop these false identities, you realize you've been free all along. You've never been depressed. They lied to you, are depressed. You believed their thoughts. They conditioned you to believe their thoughts and you became stupid. You became actually depressed. You dropped common sense. You went ahead and did something different. Look at your great-grandfather. Did he have time to get depressed? How can you get depressed when you have a lot of animals here looking after you? You have to take these cattle in the fields to graze them. Well, how will you afford depression? You have a whole farm to dig and plant so that all these 14 children can get to be provided for. But he never got depressed. You have one child and you're so depressed because you lost a job. Of course, you're one payslip away from being broke. But that payslip is not your mind. A payslip is supposed to open up doors for you to become a better man. But you stuck in a depressive mode because, again, in your subconscious mind, you are afraid to invest because your father, who was a white-collar guy, he would get a salary, he would pay bills, and then save. And then you got into a medical school and your father was unable to handle your bills. That's why he kept on relying on bursaries. That's why he kept on in WhatsApp, not WhatsApp, that time there was no WhatsApp. He kept on writing letters to people to actually bring in money so he can take you to school. He was now imparting force or pressure on other people to raise children that he actually made. You've seen those groups. Nowadays, our WhatsApp group, you want a ratio, you want dowry, you want us in our WhatsApp group. Your wedding, you want us in our WhatsApp group. School fees, you want us in our WhatsApp group. And then medical bills, again, you want us in our WhatsApp group. What is that? Why don't you take care of yourself as a man so that your children and your family follow suit? Because when you fix men, we fix women and children. But if you want to drink alcohol and say, mbinguni tutapewa mwili mpya, and then 4 months down the line, you're opening our WhatsApp group for us. Oh, you know what, with Bible quotes. He who gives, receiveth. Yeah? You you want us to actually come in to kuchangie dowry. So you're actually telling us you can't afford that woman. You even want a wedding, to kuchangia harusi. My friend, you're actually putting pressure on other men who are trying to invest for the better future for their children, if at all God gives them grace to live. But you always complaining. You never appreciate the current. But you're so quick to ejaculate and make a woman pregnant. You know very well you can't take those children to school. You are relying on savings because in your subconscious mind, saving was everything to your father. And now you have to follow suit. How much saving can you do? If you get twins and all of them pass the exam, they go into a medical school, how much savings do you need? How much savings do you need before going broke? And then now you blame your woman for going out to actually seek for more school fees for these children. Oh, I didn't cheat when I was down. You are down. My woman cheated on me when I was down. I was, hey. Now you're blaming somebody, again, handing over your power even further. Why don't you look inside? Because you are unable to provide, so you actually suffer the consequences of being unable to provide. Some of you have women, a wife pregnant, but even paying for an ultrasound, you can't. You are unable. But you are able to ejaculate. Ama identity crisis. Iko kubwa sana. So you can ejaculate in a woman that people paid for you, dowry, they paid for your wedding, and now you're here because you, imagine this, we pay for your dowry, we pay for your wedding, and then you take photos on that wedding and post to us to show us how you've made it. If somebody can actually fund your wedding, you are unable to handle that woman. Leave that woman. Why did you even get into a wedding when you know you cannot cater for 80% of that budget? So how sure are you you're going to take care of this woman for a lifetime? How? Convince me that you are unable to do a wedding on your own and now you can take care of this woman for a lifetime. Oh, we need a share. Tumekuchangia? We need a share. This one? Hapana. Kila mtu anakuja kuchukua portion yake. We are just waiting for the right time. Be very cautious. If you're getting angry with this conversation, just know it's actually hitting you hard. Good. So the order of God shall always remain. God above men, men above women, women above children. Any distortion in that order, depression, loneliness, validation, and all that. And you see it all the time. So I'll keep on reminding you this until you fix your inner self, because your real world is inside you. There is nothing outside. Everything is happening inside of you. That's why I tell you, when I say you, how are you? Tell me all is well, because if it is not well, it's just not well with you. Does it hit you that the economy right now is bad, but there are people who are actually thriving in that bad economy? Does it hit you that? Do you even know that during COVID, there were COVID billionaires? You're the only one who was locked up in a room? Did you know that? So tough times are happening inside you. They're not outside. They are inside you. Face those tough times and overcome them by actually overcoming those who actually made you believe and have these false beliefs in your subconscious mind. Once you just walk that journey of forgiveness, you bring that subconscious mind to the conscious. You bring it on the surface, you clear it out. And then you start meditating and doing the silent prayer. The reason why I keep insisting on silent prayer is because we will constantly think about the future. You see, that's the devil again. So he knows you're on your journey to seek identities. And he will torment you. Believe me, there are times that I stand there and somebody is talking to me in a very, very bad tone, and I really want to respond because I want to show him, you know what, man, mimi si mnyonge. But now that makes it easier for you because you will see those thoughts. you will see this is not me. This is somebody or some spirit trying to manipulate me to say these things. So when somebody shouts at you and you shout back, that is not you who shouted back. The spirit inside you controlled you to shout. And then the same spirit comes in and tells you, oh, you know what? You couldn't resist that anger. Why did you shout? Now go and apologize. So he tells you to here to shout. He comes and tells you here to go and apologize. He makes you judge yourself. And now you start thinking, I did wrong. I need to apologize. When you start judging yourself, you get into more problems. You get into more problems. So your whole being has to be present. When I tell you to stay present, not to live even 10 minutes from now, because you're not your future. You are here. You're now. The richest you'll ever be and the poorest you'll ever be is now. The most healthy you'll ever be and the most sick you'll ever be is today, is now. The most comfortable and the most uncomfortable you'll ever be is now. The oldest and the youngest you'll ever be is now. But look at you living tomorrow that you don't even have. Oh, I'm so scared about my children. How will they be if their father just passed on? How will I raise these children alone? But today, you are raising them today. Why don't you appreciate that moment? Because through gratitude, God rewards. When you develop the spirit of forgiveness and gratitude, you get more. But you're constantly living in a future that you don't even have. It's in your imagination. Somebody lied to you that, oh, you know what, the future is bright. Just because you're suffering now, the future is bright. It is not. It is not. You don't have it. So how do you know it will be bright? You can suffer now, and even tomorrow, if God gives you grace to live tomorrow, you will still suffer. That's how you need to surrender. Once you surrender, the Mother Nature takes over. Have you ever realized when you're chasing something so hard, it keeps on running away from you? That moment when you give up and let go, that's when it comes to you. Men can relate very well with this one. The moment you're chasing a woman constantly, she keeps on running away from you. The moment you just give up and say, wacha ikae, she starts coming. That's the same concept with money. Because money is feminine. You chase money, it runs away from you. Because you need to attract money. You don't need to chase money. Money is a reward for doing something, for an effort. So you can only attract it by doing something. But when you start chasing it, it runs away from you and you suffer. That's why that pay slip, you get broke every single day. You're on a pay slip, but you're still broke. You wait 30 days to earn money. And then within 5 days, all this money is gone. Now you have 25 days to wait for more money. Now you get into loans. And now that money that is coming at the end of the 25 days is even lesser than the first money. And the circus continues. So now you have to wake up early to go and please somebody so you can earn a living, so that you can pay your debts. Stay present. Stay present. Imagine even God does not judge you, because he knows that the spirit that controlled you to do what you did was the spirit of evil. He's simply waiting for you to actually stop playing him, forgive and be forgiven. But what did somebody tell you? Oh, you know what? God is the judge. But the same God is not judging you. He brought even his son to actually clear everything for you. God is there watching you, waiting for you to stop playing him so that he can actually come in. But the more you play God, the more he lets you suffer. Because it's your own inducive. You're inducing it on your own. So stop playing God. Ladies and gentlemen, forgive and let go. Be full of gratitude. Appreciate your presence. Stay present. And do the silent prayer, because the silent prayer helps you to overcome your thoughts. It helps you to know that those thoughts are not your thoughts. They're the thoughts from the evil spirit. That anger is not you. No. Something inside you controls you to become angry and overreact. That overthinking is not you. It's the spirit that lives inside you. So ladies and gentlemen, kindly like the live, because through doing that, it will get to more people. If you're on YouTube, just like the live and then go ahead and listen. Okay. Oh, you know, I've fornicated before. Oh, you know, I've aborted before. So how will God look at me? Maybe this is why I'm suffering, because I did this and that. That is the devil trying to judge you. And you are paying attention to what the devil is saying to your thoughts. And once you pay attention, you become of the father, the devil. Oh, you know, I need to do this to be successful. Oh, you know, I have these standards. I need this type of man or this type of woman. As you do that, you're listening to your thoughts. And that's how you start worshiping your thoughts. Allow me to take you back to our questions of the night. And there were 4 questions here. First question was, do you have morals? Now you have your answers, right? Do you have morals? Silence the noise in my mind. Open the eyes of my heart. Well done. Good one. This is mercy. Very good statement. I always say that serenity prayer every day, it really helps a lot. This is Kibudu, very true. Every time you stay in present, every time you stick present, and every time you do a silent prayer, it helps you overcome that evil spirit, that anger, that loneliness. You're not born to be lonely. When you were born, you didn't think about dating, you didn't think about men, you didn't even know you're a man or a woman. Okay? Somebody made you believe things, and then you became those things, and now subconsciously you suffer from that. So stop suffering, because God wants you to be free. He doesn't even judge you. He wants you to be free. He loves you, but you love your father, the devil, because somebody taught you the devil. Somebody taught you how God looks like, so you started editing God into your own image. That is not how it is. Most of the things that we've been taught are false. Most of the things that we've been taught are false. How is the silent prayer done? Cozy, thank you so much. Simply wake up, sit on your bed and relax. Okay? Sit upright and just close your eyes and soak into it. Now, when you're doing this, I want you to do this. I want you to listen to those thoughts. Allow those thoughts to flow into your head, both the positive and the negative thoughts. Let them just flow into your head. Don't fight any thought. Don't pay attention to whatever noise is happening around you. Simply do one thing. Breathe naturally. Don't struggle with anything. Allow those thoughts to flow into your head. And as you do that, that is the time you're telling God, you know what? I have surrendered. I don't care about anything else. And I've realized that I've been playing you through my own thoughts and imagination. Because did you know that human beings are the only beings that can actually think about their thoughts? Do you know that? Human beings are the only beings that can actually think about their thoughts. That tells you those are not your thoughts. When you say myself, what is that self? So just relax into it. Let the thoughts flow into your head. Okay, give yourself about 10 minutes. And then breathe naturally and let go. Okay? Pay attention, but do not act upon your thoughts. Let them just flow into your head slowly and carefully, and let them just go. My friend, when you, after 10 minutes or so, just open up your eyes slowly and come back to reality. Oh, that is the perfect state to be in, because at that moment in time, you did not care about anything. You did not pay attention to your thoughts, or you did not act upon those thoughts. You allow them to come in and go out. You will now realize that you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Because thoughts will always throw you into the future or throw you into the past for you to pass a judgment. They will always. That's how they operate. They will never keep you present. The only true thoughts are the functional and practical thoughts, the now. Like right now we are having a conversation. These are the true thoughts. I am going to work, concentrate. I am driving, concentrate there. That is the real reality. Okay? That is what makes sense. That is the real thoughts now. Those are the ones that you actually act upon. The rest are in your imagination and they are lies. All thoughts at all times are all lies. Are all lies. They are all lies. So do not act upon those thoughts. And the devil will manipulate you. You will be trying so hard. Every single day you'll have to overcome the devil or the spirit of evil. Because the trial begins immediately you start focusing on finding your own identity. That's when your friends will become so arrogant. That's when you lose most of your friends. And you see, you don't have friends at all. You only have people you know, people you adapted along the way. You have colleagues, you have workmates, you have all this, but you don't have friends. You'll realize that. But look at you trying to submit yourself, your will, to people you call friends. You see, when I call you my friend, I want you to behave in a way that pleases me. So I'm manipulating you. Okay? I want you to play a role in my life that will please me all the time. Massage my ego. Because if you do something that is against me, you're not my friend anymore. I start telling you, but you are my friend. How would you do this to me? So those people that you think are your friends, oh, these are my family. You don't have a family. You don't have a family. You don't have friends. You don't have a career. You don't have a reputation to protect. You don't have morals. You don't have values. You don't have standards. All these things are just fake. They are false identities. They come from one house. They are just demons coming from the same house, the house of evil. And they will manipulate you. So walk away from the manipulation. Forgive those who you resent. If you resent the father to your children, face him. Because through facing him, you will overcome him. And until you face him, he will manipulate you all the time because he's always living in your head rent-free. So go and face him and tell him, you know what, you made me a mother and I appreciate that. However, I realize along the way, I've been resenting you for leaving us. I apologize. And whatever he says should never be your business. He has no power. He can't forgive you. It's God who will forgive you. But you have to get that obstacle off your road. Okay? Forgive your mother. Tell her, you know what, I realized you are in a fallen state and there's nothing you would have done or controlled about that. And now that I realize that, I've been resenting you for no good reason. I apologize. Allow her to soak into her own feelings and emotions. Move. Go to your father and tell him, I realize also I've been resenting you for not being there for us. And sometimes I hope that you will actually protect me from the emotions that are coming from my mother. But because you didn't have any control over that, I realized I've been resenting you for no good reason. I apologize. Oh, once you do that, my friend, you will see a whole different you. But the more you resist, the more you play God, the more you suffer in your own anger. And you will think, just because I lashed anger at Dr. Lewis, oh, he has to feel bad about it. No, my friend, I feel bad and I don't know you. Some of you, the reason why you follow me is because of the content that I share for you for free. Some of you hate me and you think I'll feel the hatred. When you hate me, you actually make me control you, because I'll say things you don't want to hear and you'll hate me even further. But as you hate me, you suffer. I'm not suffering because you hate me. Because most of you actually started on a note that they hated me, and then they realized, oh, by the way, this guy might have a point. And this guy might have a point. Let me just try. Because you've done everything. It's not working. You've gone to church, paid tithe. Every Sunday, you're fast in the church. You're last to leave the church. And you still have the same problems. You're a very good Muslim. You pray 5 times a day. On Friday, you're the first in the mosque, on the first lane. You're doing your salah every single time. But you still have problems. You still have the same problems. You still have the same anger. Right? You're willing to destroy anything that comes within your path, because anybody who has anger is a murderer. You're willing to destroy anything. And so you only want people who will actually conform to your nonsense. If they don't, huyo maliza. Oh, you should see Christians judging other religions. These are hapana. Hapana. On the other side, you should see Buddhists judging these other people. Why are they doing this? I mean, we are the people. Our God is the superior one. There's always a constant war between Muslims and Christians. And I'm wondering, who is our God? So you're thinking there's a supernatural being up here who is just looking at you. And as you become a good Muslim or a good Christian, he's actually picking you. No, the God that you're actually serving is what is inside your heart. You're doing everything good for yourself. There's nothing up here. Everything is in your heart. So allow me to read some questions here. Inspire Global. Imagine meeting your dad at 30 only to spend a 9-hour date while you're happy and at ease. Listen to that. Listen to that. A 30-year-old meeting the father for the first time, spending 9 hours of that first time, and these 9 hours just disappear as though there were 20 minutes. Imagine meeting your father at 30 only to spend a 9-hour date while you're happy and at ease. Oh, I'm telling you for free. Every child has a hole that longs for their biological fathers. And most of you who are raised by mothers alone, you've suffered most of this fate. Because mothers, because of the resentment they have for your weak father, they will end up remodeling you into their own image. And they will make you hate your biological father through their own hate. They will make you resent your father through their own hate. And that's why they will try to bring somebody in to replace that. Your father. And when they bring somebody in, that is a mess, because that person comes in to separate the love that is between the mother and this child. So that new boyfriend, I introduced you the new. This is my new boyfriend. You've seen it all the time. Oh, introducing his new boyfriend to the world. Introducing to who? He's your boyfriend, not our boyfriend. Immediately you introduce him to us. We are in his inbox, including the gay people. They want to destroy, because 99% of human beings are evil. So they are just thinking to destroy. So as you post your husband, You are inadequate. You're seeking validation. As you post your boyfriend, you're seeking validation. You're thinking that's the best love. As you put him on your status and think, oh, you know what, this is my new God, I have to worship him. We know you are suffering. Because those who are actually enjoying the relationship, they don't post it. They don't seek validation. They have identities. The man is playing his role by providing, protecting, and sexing that woman and leading her. The woman is playing her role by submitting, respecting, and doing, and actually a helper, making the life of this man easier so that he can actually find the motivation to go out and look for more protection and provision. But as you post your next new boyfriend, you are struggling. You are actually the one who is providing. No wonder he comes there, sleeps in your house. Wakati wanaume, ai! Yeah. Unalala kwa dem na unapata usingizi. Mnakuwa na jokes. Maka unangorota. My friend. Huwa tuna risk mbaya sana. Walai huwa tuna risk. Mwenye nyumba ataku. Sasa leo ndo most of you have realized kumbe hii nyumba ikuangi yangu. It's just when it's hitting you now that you know what, there's somebody who is paying rent here. I'm not the owner, and you've been eating ugali here day in, day out. Now it's Valentine's and this guy just decided, wacha niende kwa bibi yangu. Let me drop by my wife and possibly just enjoy Valentine sex. And now wewe uko hapo in a boxer and a vest, maybe a chest out with that pot belly. You're there breathing like a toad. Unajua toad, ile the frog, the one that licks matope, inakula matope alafu inafura tumbo. You're there with that pot belly of a frog and you're breathing on top of the stomach, and now this guy is coming in lean as crazy because he's the provider. You're there to be provided for. You're actually being fed by another man. This is the same concept that happens when men watch porn. As you're watching porn, you're basically enjoying another man having sex. So you're actually gay. But look at you judging the LGBTQ. Hey, you're watching porn, enjoying another man having sex. Are you not gay? You're masturbating, having sex with yourself. Are you not being gay? Yes. So, hey, si rahisi. Saa zingine utasema vitu hamtaki kusikia. But sasa tutafanya aje? Hiyo level yenye niko lazima mfike hapo. Thank you for sharing this knowledge with us. Karibu sana. So this was interesting. 30 years meeting your father and you spent 9 hours on a date. You don't care about bills. You don't even care who will pay the bills. Even if your father is a brokey and a drunkard in that trench, forgiving and overcoming him does not mean you will adapt his characters. No. You're actually releasing his false identity. Hizi vitu lazima muambiwe. Ukiambiwa, ukikasirika, unakasirika, alafu unaenda unakaa kwa kona unakumbuka, by the way. Yeah, so take your time. I know my sons and daughters. They will take their time angry and they'll come back. I'll whip them again and they'll get used to the whips and they'll go back into their line. I want you happy. I want you fulfilled. I want a nation that has no health problems. That's why we expose health scams. This is amazing stuff. So I think most people are afraid to come in and share their stories. But today, of course, Identity Fridays by Dr. Lewis. It's amazing to always have you guys. Amazing. We've done 1 hour, 43 minutes. I think it's time, right? So, let me remind you this. Our physical consultations in Nairobi will start on the 24th of February, this month, basically, all the way to the 7th of March. Please understand that our physical consultations will start on the 24th of February all the way to the 7th of March. We'll be in Nairobi changing your lives for the better. So you can start booking your appointments at this moment in time so that you can actually be slotted in. The contact for appointment is 0707074722. That is the contact that we use for our physical consultations and our online consultations. So use that contact to book your appointments and do it through our WhatsApp text message. Okay. Once you book your appointment, you will be sent the direction to where we are. Our offices are in Nairobi, somewhere in Lavington. So we'll send you the meet. We don't want all of you coming over and just roaming that place and all that. We want to make sure that we give you adequate time. That's why we book a specific number of people every single day. And those of you who have come for my physical consultations, they know. We give you all the things that you want. We give you a lot of information that changes your life. We answer questions that you've always wanted to be answered by doctors that are rogue, that can't answer this. Those that just pass through the system. Okay? So use that contact. Text us on WhatsApp. Text your name and what you want us to help you with. We will book you for an appointment, whether an online or a physical consultation. But the physical consultations will start on 24th of February all the way to the 7th of March. That's the time that you should actually be in Nairobi. So make your trip to Nairobi so that you can actually change your life for the better. Some of this information, you can't get them on all these videos. So I've tried so much to make sure that every single information is in videos and is there for free. Don't wait until I lock them so that you can actually pay for them. Go there and enjoy those content for free. You will get all your answers there. If you're just a keen student, you'll get all your answers there. That channel is Health and Wellness Sport on YouTube. Also Health and Wellness Sport on TikTok. The channel that I'm doing a live on now is called Dr. Lewis. So go on YouTube and search Dr. Lewis. You will see that platform that talks about identities. And thank you so much for actually supporting these channels. We appreciate you. And tunawapenda tu sana. You change our lives, we change your lives. But know this, as you support our content through either liking, commenting and sharing these videos, you're not only supporting me, you're supporting the entire team that is actually working for us and that we work together. You're also supporting us in terms of improving the infrastructure so that you get more content. You also support us in terms of buying books and research materials that we actually make sure that we go deeper into it, we read for you, we bring this information to you with a lot of ease and in a way that you can easily understand. Some of you who have been on my platforms know, actually most of you know, that I break down this health information in a language that is easy to understand. You can't even miss a point. Okay? Alert, Dr. Lewis to the world. We are grateful. Universe bless you. That is the energy. Being grateful and sharing that greatness. Forgive, stay present, and then be grateful for what you have at this moment in time. Amazing. Amazing stuff. Enlighten us, books to read for more knowledge. Listen, sir, if you're on my Telegram platform, my Telegram is also called Health and Wellness Sport. You will get this information. There are a lot of books that I share on my Telegram platform and people go ahead and read it. But me trying to tell you, see now, when you look at that place, see that? There are a lot of books that I read and I replace those books every single time. So if you go on my Telegram platform, anytime I post something, I must put there, sometimes, not like every time, but I post books there that I'm currently reading and I post books there so that you can actually challenge yourself and go and read. I also post some material that I do every single day and it's just amazing. Okay, is hell a physical place? No, hell is not a physical place. Same to heaven, it's not a physical place. You look at it this way, how can it be a physical place and it's not on earth? Physical things are here on earth. Hell and heaven is spiritual things and the spirit lives inside your heart. So hell and heaven is in your heart. That's why I tell people, most of you love your hell. Imagine being diabetic for 10 years and you're still stuck in the knowledge that you don't want to change your diet. You love your hell. Imagine being in a relationship that has lasted you 20 years and you're suffering there because you are afraid, you know what, if I live here, my children will suffer. You love your hell. If you're depressed, you're in your own hell because you're the only one who is depressed. Everybody else is okay. Doc, do you go to church? What is a church? Are you talking of the building? I was raised in one. I was raised in one. But imagine this. This is a fellowship, okay? Fridays are for fellowship. That's why we call them Identity Fridays, or those who call it IF, but not intermittent fasting. So these are fellowships where we offer you real solutions. We have conversations that provide real solutions. We don't want your tithe. We don't want even to like the life. We want you to actually just make sure that the life gets to more people, okay? So what we do is, we don't want your tithe. We don't want you to do anything to get something in return. No, we just want you to sit back and understand that the order of God is this way. Once you understand the order of God, you choose you. You simply reconnect back because you are born on a path. But somebody dropped you away from this path. And now there's a price to pay to bring you back to your path. And that price is forgiveness. You see that? So I always help you come out from that hell into your heaven. And your heaven is what we call the perfect peace. But as long as you're in a fallen state, that is hell. And allow me to tell you this. Christians will understand this better. I don't know if this is also captured in the Quran. There's this parable of the prodigal son. Most of you grew up understanding that parable, but you understood it on the superficial level. that, you know what, this son asked the father for his inheritance and then he went and spent it and then came back and asked for forgiveness. You take it so literal, or literally. So this is what that parable means, that, you know what, fathers will always take their sons back and their daughters back. A father will always love his children. He might have problems with the mother of those children. He might run away from the mother, but he will never run away from the children. I'm saying a father. I'm not saying kuna watu wananiambia but he ran away. That is you. A father will always have a connection with their children. And an absence of a father in the life of a child, these children will suffer. They will never know peace until they reconnect with their biological fathers. So this guy decided, you know what, I am now a whole human being. I have to go and find my way out. And the father supported that idea. So the guy went out and did what he had to do. Of course, he made his own mistakes, but guess what? It was the right thing to do, because the father allowed the son to explore on his own, make more mistakes so that he can actually realize that he dug a pit and come back to the creator, who is the biological father. And that's why I tell you, biological fathers are earthly representation of God to a child, because they're the creators on earth. So this guy went there, did all he had to do, and then he came back. When he came back, did the father judge him? So who are you to think that God, your creator, judges you? He doesn't. The father did not judge him. The father did not tell him, you know what, you took your inheritance, now you have to go. No, he took him back under his wing. He forgave him. And once the guy found his bearing, perfect peace, he came back to heaven. So where do people go to when they die? Who cares? That's the devil trying to send you in the imagination, bro. Who cares? Why don't you just allow yourself to find out when you're there? Will you even care when you're dead? You won't care. So why do you want to find out where people go when they're dead? All we know is we bury them in the soil. That's their own problem. Whatever happens to them, they go back to the soil. So why would I even start struggling to care if there is a ninth heaven, if there is hell, if these people will go and burn in fire? Why would I care? When my present is now, I'm not dead. So why would I even care about what is happening around us? I am in the world, but not of the world. You see that? Whatever is happening around is none of your business. Even if somebody dies here, let them die. I mean, they have to die anyway. Do you think you're a savior? You can't save anybody. For those of you who remember, there was a time, this lady, I think it was in Kitengela or somewhere, where this lady was busy, locked herself into the house and started stabbing the child. You remember that video? And the guys who were taking a video at the window, they were unable to open the door. So they were busy, hey, muache, muache. They were busy crying. I was looking at that video and I'm like, whatever is happening outside you is none of your business. I know you want to think you're so good and you would have actually broken into that house and saved that child. Do you remember that? All of us had those feelings. You know what? This lady is so bad. But you see, that lady had no control over what was happening to her. So you didn't have a chance to judge her. Why did you think she was so bad? Because you're thinking you're too good. So you pass a judgment. That makes you even worse than that lady who actually stabbed that child. It makes you worse because you judged, you pass judgment, so you are evil. You don't have an opinion. If somebody wants to kill their child, that's their own problem. They are suffering in their own hell. How many people have died just trying to save the external world instead of fixing their inner world? If all of us get to fix our inner world, do you think we will kill our babies? Do you think you'll kill your babies if you fix your inner world? If you grow the spirit of good, you'll do good. But if you grow the spirit of evil that has been taught to you, it will depress you and it will lie through to your own thoughts. It will lie to you. So whatever that lady was doing at that moment in time, she wasn't even in control of it. She was in a fallen state. So we who are in a fallen state also were thinking that this one is doing the wrong thing, so we are judging. When you judge, you suffer. You become more evil than her. Have you ever seen God trying to stop somebody from killing their own children? Has God ever come through to stop you from having an abortion? Have you seen God going to save these ladies who are killed in those houses in the name of femicide? Have you seen God there? What does that tell you? Do you think you have more power than God? Your power and your God is inside you. Focus on that. Whatever is happening outside you is none of your business. When you focus on that and you grow the spirit of good by forgiving those that you resent, because the easiest thing would have been, this lady would have actually found guidance by falling onto one of our videos and goes ahead and forgives the father to the children, goes ahead and forgives the mother to do away with the false identities and the spirit of evil. Once that happens, she'll have her own spirit back. She will know how to love the child because God will give her directions. He will give her revelations through her own spirit on how to raise the child. Most of you are raising children, but you don't even know how to love. You think you love your children because you're attached to them. You are emotional. If God was emotional, all of you will be dead now. So if somebody wants to do whatever he wants to do, let him do it. That's not your problem. Your problem is inside you. Fix that. You will realize you don't have emotions at all. You don't even care. You don't even love. You're just living your life according to revelations that are good. Revelation come through that spirit and you do good. If you have the spirit of evil, revelation come through that spirit and you do evil. You see that? You will do what you have to do. You don't even think you care about people. You don't. Because if God does not come in to actually save those people, who do you think you are? You can't save human beings. No, you can't. Some of those things have to happen to be a statistics or to teach you a lesson. So stay present, be yourself, and keep moving. Forgive. If you've not picked anything from this lesson today, number one, stay present. Don't ever think about the future, you don't have it. Don't think about the past, you don't have it. Always bring your thought in present. And how do you do that? You must stick in a silent prayer. Always wake up and do a silent prayer, and throughout the day, do a silent prayer. If you see something that is so offensive and you want to react, go into a silent prayer. About a minute or so, you will overcome it. Take about 10 to 20 seconds to respond to anything. You will realize your response is not even needed. If somebody is trying to make noise to you, stare into their eyes and ask them, are you okay? Mtu anakutusi na unamwangalia kwa macho unamwambia, are you okay? Do you think they'll continue abusing you? Look at them melting in their own hell. Or sometimes just go silent. Okay? Just go silent. You don't need a response to anything. You don't need to respond. You don't need an opinion. You don't need to pick sides. You don't need any judgment. Just be you. Stay present. Okay? That is one. Stay present. Stay in prayer, the silent prayer. Okay? Because through that prayer, God will reveal things to you on how to lead your life. You need it. And I hope that most doctors can actually find God because they're the ones who lie a lot. They kill even their own children without even knowing because they're in a fallen state. I hope one day doctors get to know God so that they can actually serve people the way God instructs them to do that. So that the spirit of fear disappears. Inside them, they are so afraid that, oh, you know what, somebody will come for my license. Oh, somebody will come to the big farm will come shoot me between the eyes. Who cares about that? It is not happening now, it is not there. You see that? It is not happening now, it is not there. If you have fear, overcome it by forgiving. If you have doubt, if you feel lonely, if you are afraid of anything in terms of the future that you don't even have, forgive and overcome. And start by forgiving your mother, overcome her. Because she remodeled you into her own image. And then go ahead and forgive your father because he allowed your mother to remodel you into her own image. Once you forgive those two, the rest shall just follow. Okay? The rest shall just follow. Somebody's asking me, ulikuwa si you Captain Doc? Ask my people in my high school, bro. They'll tell you, hey, this one. I was a wild kid. And as I finish this, let me tell you a story before you actually... let me pick this before I tell you my final story. You can't miss that story. Where is that person? It disappeared again. You can't miss out on this story. So let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, okay? This should be on radio, every podcast. Amazing. That tells me you are actually appreciating what I'm saying, and it's very important. Thank you. So, I was a very bubbly child, okay? I was literally all over. I was just living life on my own. I'm glad that my father did not push me into going into church and doing all these things because he was stoic at some point. Of course, he had his own weaknesses just like every other father, but he taught me a lot of good things, okay? So this is the point. The point is, I was a very bubbly child, and I was light skinned. Nowadays, you see me, I'm dark, and they're like, hey, bro, hey, I was light. I'll share my pictures someday. So, so I used to play around. We never had this perimeter walls all over. No, it was just a free world. Neighbors knew each other. Nowadays, you have a neighbor that doesn't even know you. I'm Juani. So you hate each other to an extent that you're building walls to protect yourself. You're not protecting yourself from anything because nothing is happening outside you. Everything is inside you. The fear is inside you. Fix it. So I used to play around. I used to be very good at football. So I used to be this small guy, very akili kidogo and all that. So growing up, I come into high school and now I'm learning life. Okay, that's the same way you learn life. So in Form 2, I became this crazy guy because I broke my voice. And I started growing some broad shoulders, started lifting some gym kidogo go high school because I used to play football and rugby, but I was beaten so badly in rugby, I disappeared, so I went into football. So I'm starting to grow some muscles here and there. And now girls are like, this one with these big eyes. I'm like, you guys, you don't know me. So in Form 2, I became this crazy guy. I used to connect guys with girls and all that. You know, the high school stuff, right? And I never got into serious trouble. I would get into trouble for wearing one socks. Mnajua hizi vitu, navaa socks moja, or sometimes nimevaa ties juu yaje, or I've just taken a collar na nimeshonea kwa sweater. You see, when the temperatures were too high, and sometimes in high school there were no water, so you take the collar of a shirt. There's no shirt inside, it's just a sweater, and then you sew. Is it sewing or sewing? Sewing, whatever. The collar on top of the sweater. Okay, so now you're there. Wewe uko na shati na uko na sweater tu bila shati, ni collar tu, and then you turn the collar inside out so that, you see, let me not do it. So when I turn inside out so that hiyo sweat inaenda hii side ya ndani. Okay, and when you turn the collar this other side, you look very neat. I'm seated there. So those are the small things that I actually got into trouble with. But the biggest mistake came in, the biggest temptation came in Form 4. We went to Nyeri, to Mutumu Girls, I can't forget, for drama festivals. So the devil became serious with me. So I was so good at acting. All right. So I went to Tumutumu Girls for the nationals, and problems came in because the bus was new. So they actually bought a new bus. This for the guys who studied where I studied. So there was a new bus, and we were the first people to take this bus to the drama festivals. So I went with this bus, and when we got there, every girl wanted to just be associated with us because the bus was new and crazy. We used to call that bus Kisululu. Hey? So ladies and gentlemen, day 1 of drama festivals, day 2, day 3. Hey, the devil is speaking to me, bro. Why are you this silent? So I decided, because most of the guys that we had were younger and they were afraid of actually approaching girls. So we had an easy day, a Thursday, I remember. So I went ahead and I talked to girls from Tumu Girls High School, and I brought them, about 28 girls or so. I brought them into the bus. Hey. Then I brought guys, our boys, into the same bus. So now everybody was to pick a girl. I've already done everything. So wewe kazi yako ni kupick them, fanye venye utafanya, okay? And then I sat back in the back seat there to just enjoy whatever was happening. You can see how evil I was. I'm sitting back there, just watching what is happening. These guys touching, because the confidence is now there. And then the mistake we did is I advised them. The devil advised me to advise them to drop the curtains. What? No sooner had we dropped the curtains than that's when I applied that statement for the first time. No sooner had we dropped the curtains than, hey. We used to have this boarding master called Zaire. So he used to say, instead of calling it Zaire, because he used to teach history, instead of saying Zaire, he used to say Zaire. So we had nicknamed him Zaire or Green Benches. Green Benches because his car was green. It was this very old car, a green car. So we used to call him Green Benches. Because again, in high school, we had these benches that were green where we used to study. So we just dropped the curtains. This guy was seeing all that. So he allowed us about 10-15 minutes to enjoy ourselves. Hey. And then after that, just guys just popped into the bus. He's like, kila mtu, hivyo tu, hivyo, venye mko hivyo. Just shika tu hivyo kabisa. I'm telling you guys, I was innocent. I didn't have anybody I was touching. Honestly. I was just enjoying the scenes, but I'm the one who actually started this problem. So, that time there was this song that was called, let me just hold that back. So, we are here, we've been caught now. And the bus was stinking crazy because, of course, boys had done their own things. When Zaire entered that bus, I knew this me gone. I'm in Form 4, first term. We had done a pre-mock. So, now this guy says, all of you now, 1, 2, 3, 4, So 5 of my boys were caught in a serious mess, like literally. So they were asked, nani amefanya hii kitu? Then they said, everybody was just looking at me. And there I'm there in the back seat, with a lollipop. You know, those days, lollipop was something. So and he just said, okay. Girls washuke, wasichana washuke. Some guys were throwing the brass through the windows and all that. So girls wakaenda. Now we were locked in that bus, and he told us, until you smell all this stinkiness. You're not coming down this bus. So close the windows na munuse hii harufu mpaka ishe. Hey. To cut the long story short, that's the first time I got this thing called indefinite suspension. So I'm in Form 4, I'm told, you just go home, we will call you. I'm like, you will call me? So ego now comes up. I'm like, I did nothing wrong. Why are they telling me they'll call me? Now I went home. I packed my bags and went home. So at home, my mother was worried. Why are you not going for tuition? I'm like, no, why are you not going for tuition? That is at 7 in the morning. So my mother woke up at 7 in the morning to just wake me up and ask me why I'm not going for tuition. Hey, I was so upset with that question. So she saw the anger in me and she told me, she shouted, enda uambie babako nini imefanyika. Ay. So I was trying to cool her down because as she's shouting, I'm thinking my dad will go crazy on me. So she was so angry. She tells me, wewe ni kama umefukuzwa shule. Nini ilifanyika? Enda uambie babako kwa nini uendi shule. I'm like, wow, shut up. It's 7 in the morning. Relax. So I decided to tell her, because boys trust their mothers more. So I decided to tell my mother. I was given a suspension and it's written on gross misconduct. So I hid the meaning. Gross misconduct. So she told me, what is that? Hiyo ni nini? Gross, hiyo ni kama hii tumutumu mulianza kuharibu huko. I'm like, hey, dad will hear this. And then she shouts, enda ambia babako hiyo story. My dad comes out and says, hey, ni nini baya? I'm like, dad, hey. Now I have to say it anyway. So dad, this is my suspension. I was suspended in Nyeri. And my dad called me aside. He took me into the sitting room and told me, hey, man to man, what did you do? I told him, I was suspended and I was told it's an indefinite suspension, and because this is what happened. I told him exactly what happened. And I thought when I tell him that, I'll receive the slap of the year. Because I didn't like my dad that much. I was like, jamaa unikazia sana. Because my dad is that guy who would come home at 3. Hiyo siku ya kufungua shule. He tells you, I want you to go to school at 10. Who goes to school at 10 in high school? 10 a.m. I'll spend the whole day alone in that school. But he tells me, we'll go. And then he comes back home at 1 or 3 to see if you're still there. Now he makes a lot of noise. He sends you to school. So I knew he was a no-nonsense guy. So he told me, okay, is this the whole truth? I told him, yes. That's the whole truth. He told me, tukienda na wewe shule, hakuna hii story itabadilika. Nikamwambia, no, I've told you the truth because you already caught me. My dad told me, listen, I am going to do everything within my power to make sure you go back to school. I know that you didn't have any control over this. That's what he said. I know you didn't have any control over this. But I'm hoping that this is the last mistake you make in that school. My friend, I totally melted. I'm expecting you to hit me so hard. Why are you telling me these things? And he was looking straight in he had actually touched my shoulder. He looking straight into my eyes and told me, I know you're not the one who was in control of this. But let it be the last mistake you're making in that school. And I'm going to do everything within my power to make sure you go back to school. So your role now is to sit here and study. Never leave this house. Sit here, study. If there's anything you need, I'll provide. But sit here and study. Oh, those were the best words I've ever heard from my father. I actually thought, why was I even thinking all this negative stuff? Why? And then this gentleman went out because I was out for a whole month. But he took me back to another school. Okay, he took me to another school to do some tuition there, so that when he finishes his business with the deputy principal in the year, I come back. So he went, busted his whole things out to make sure that I go back to school. And true to it, at the end of that 1 month, I was called back. And the only reason why I was called back is because he went there, talked to them, and he told them that the next exam that I'm supposed to do, if I don't perform, they kick me out. They kick me out. So thank God the pre-mock came out and had gotten very good results. So they thought, wacha tumpe a second chance. Of course, that was the first chance because I had only missed once. So they called me back. When I went back to school, we had this meeting. I had an album of photos of these girls again in my, I had carried an album because I want to remember these girls. So I carried it in my box when I was going to school. And then they said, go and search the car. Mukuja na hiyo box yake msearch. So my dad, I don't know how he knew I had that album. So he went into the car, opened the box, and threw the album into the car. and then came with the box. So when they searched it, hakuna kitu ilipatikana, and then my dad was told, you must whip your son so that he grows some discipline. That's the first time my dad whipped me up with a lot of fear. So he took a kiboko, gave me 6 to explain later. And then I went back to school. And I think that was a turnaround in my life totally, because at that moment in time, I knew my purpose. I did what I had to do. And I loved that school. I actually enjoyed my life in school after all this saga. So when I went home, I was hoping that my dad would give me that album. Hey, the devil. I was hoping that my dad would hand over my album from Tumutumu. My dad was just silent. And then later on, he came to explain when I was getting into campus, and he was telling me, you know what, campus is now crazier than the high school. So this is what you're supposed to do. That album, I threw it away. I burnt it because I wanted to burn the spirit of evil. And I hope you actually understand that. Now it's time that I'm going to give you freedom to go out and do your own thing. You're going to Nakuru for school. And the world out there is not as easy as you think. Huko nje kuna magonjwa mingi na utasafa. So go there, focus on books and become the best version of yourself. One day you'll enjoy your life. So all these words have rung into my head every single time. And I was thinking, why didn't he sit me down and tell me about the Bible? I was thinking, why didn't he slap the hell out of me when I made a mistake? I think from that is when I started realizing that fathers are very special. And without a father, children suffer. Because I was thinking, if my dad slapped the hell out of me, I'm telling you that house ingenuka. Because the ego in me was here. So I was expecting him to slap me so that I can actually show him, you know what, I've been resenting you all these times. That was my thought. But he played reverse psychology on me. And I was like, wow, okay. And the effort that he put in to make sure that I'm in that school, it was crazy, my friends. So I'm telling you this for free. Fathers are special. Go and reconnect with your father. Regardless of who he is, whether a drunkard or a porn addict, it doesn't matter. Go and forgive him because you understand that he's in a fallen state. And when I forgave my father later on in life, I felt so good. And right now you can find me and my father having these deeper conversations, opening up. He started actually opening up on things that I didn't even know. And now we can have this conversation with my father without any form of resentment. You deserve better, and I'm telling you this for free. Until you get to reconnect with your biological father, you'll never know peace. You'll never know peace. So go and forgive your mother for turning you against your biological father. Go and forgive your father for allowing your mother to remodel you into her own image. Once you do that, you overcome the spirit of evil. You overcome the subconscious, the fear, the doubt, the anger, the emotions. Once you overcome that, perfect peace. That is what we call heaven. And you'll see heaven. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for attending. I hope that this live has impacted you positively, and I hope that you can actually practice that and become a better person. Because here is where we find solutions to identities. Here is where we try to help you to live a perfect life inside you and not outside you, because you are in the world but not of the world. So thank you so much for attending this, and I hope you can actually share this so that other people can actually get to learn from you. Have a good night, and we'll see you another time.